Well, did you ever meet with Michael Jackson during the course of the trial?
Nope.
Never talked to him once.
I would see him in court. I met with him once. He shook my hand, which is a whole separate. And in the mornings, he would show up in court from time to time, pretty much every day. And he would say, "Good morning, Scott. Thank you for being here." And that was it. That was the extent of our conversations.
Well, Michael Jackson ended up beating all 14 charges. How did you feel being part of that case, knowing that it was essentially a home run?
Yeah, it was a grand slam.
Yeah.
I'm not a looky-loo. I try not to participate in things I don't need to. I left at the end of May. I think it was May 27th, May 28th. I left the trial. I didn't stick around for closing arguments. I didn't stick around for jury deliberations. I didn't stick around for the verdict. I watched it at home like everybody else. There's no point in me being there. I have a life, I have a wife, I have a family, I have no reason to stand in Santa Maria and watch jurors deliberate. Tom is under order. He has to be within a certain length of time. Yeah, I bailed. So no, I was happy because I felt like my work, made a difference. I like when I can make a difference.
Well, you're rumored to have been paid $350,000.
Wow.
Any truth in that?
You think I can get it?
It is Michael Jackson.
I'll tell you point blank. I was hired in October of, when was the trial? 05?
05, yeah.
I was hired in October of 04. I was paid a flat fee of $12,000 a month to the end of May. Do the math.
There you go.
And there was reimbursement because we did have to buy, for example, my wife was doing all of the logistics, all of the coordination of witnesses. So she was in contact, example, with the Barnes family. She had to get them flights from Australia. Macaulay Culkin was in Los Angeles, and he was always cooperative. So that wasn't an issue, but he wanted his lawyer there. So again, my wife had to deal with getting people hotel rooms, getting flights. Macaulay Culkin's attorney had to fly out from New York. And so my wife, who at the time also had a PI license, and she was doing all of the logistics and handling all of that. So we got reimbursed, and I think it was probably the tune of around, I'm guessing, between $48,000 and $50,000 of money that we had shelled out. But that's not money that went to me. That's money that went to the airlines, to pay for the tickets or to the hotels, because we had to book the hotels for some of these people. But as far as how much I was paid, I don't know. Do the math. What does that come to?
Well, Chris Tucker took the stand.
Yes. Love Chris Tucker.
Right. And he was the final witness.
Chris Tucker's the only one that said to me in no uncertain terms he would have taken the stand and testified. Couldn't have cared less if it was Michael Jackson or Joe Schmo.
Okay.
The right thing is the right thing.
And I guess there was some scamming involved that he talked about as well?
Oh. Well, okay. I don't think there was scam. I hate to use that term. So essentially, I remember Chris told me at one point that Gavin would walk around the house and he would say, "Why do you need all of this crap? Why can't we have some of it?" And I know he sort of reacted, that's kind of a weird thing to say to somebody. Why do you need all of this? Why can't, we have some of it, kind of thing. But what became an issue during the trial is they put together a whole list of this person called that person called this person. They had a series of unindicted conspirators. I think Garagos' original investigator, Brad Miller, Mark Garagos, the Germans, I forget their names, Dieter Konitz or something like that. But there were a series of people, one of an attorney, David Legrand, I believe, who were all these unindicted co-conspirators. And they had all of these phone calls going between these people. And I noticed when I was going through the paperwork, I noticed the one person who didn't seem to fall into that little nexus was Chris Tucker. And if you listen to Snedden's narrative in his opening statement, he talks about, and the family went to Florida, but he glossed over it like it was no big deal. So when I eventually tracked down Chris Tucker, now again, the city of Los Angeles has a very small legal community. And again, when you have a criminal attorney, the criminal attorneys, everybody sort of knows everybody. because the county of Santa Barbara was coming down to Los Angeles, Chris Tucker ultimately ended up with an attorney named John Sweeney. I have a very long relationship with John Sweeney. John was part of the Johnny Cochran, Carl Douglas. He was part of that law firm. Kevin McKesson. Kevin McKesson was actually Ray Perez's attorney. And again, I have a relationship with them. And so when I was trying to get in touch with Chris Tucker, and found out that John Sweeney was his attorney, I contacted John and we set it up at his house. So I met Chris Tucker. And as it turned out, so the morning after, or I guess the night that it aired, and the media showed up at the Arvizo's house, apartment, this apartment in East LA where they were at the time, they called Chris and said, "Can we come over to your house?" And they were going to come over in the morning. And Chris said, "Actually, I'm leaving. I'm going to Orlando." He had a home in Orlando, Florida. And so he said, "Meet me at Van Nuys Airport," because Chris had chartered a private jet. When they got to Van Nuys that morning, and the second call that I found, one was the night before around 7, 8 o'clock at night, and one was like 6 or 7 in the morning. And they were meeting at Van Nuys Airport. I forget what time. But when they showed up there, they said, "Can we go to Miami? Michael's in Miami." And Gavin wanted to see Michael. So Chris said, sure. Contacted whoever he had done this through, and they just rerouted the flight plan. So the plane was now flying to Miami. So there was no conspiracy to get Arvizo to Miami. I mean, all of this stuff that allegedly happened on the plane just was idiotic because, again, the flight down there was with Chris Tucker, and Michael didn't even know they were going to show up. My understanding is they got there, they knew where he was staying, and they showed up where he was staying. I just don't remember how accurate or inaccurate that is. I do know for a fact, though, what Chris Tucker had told me. And so it didn't make sense that these nonsensical phone calls, this person called that person, that. How did the family end up in Florida? And they ended up there because they contacted Chris. They initiated their going to Florida.
Yeah.